Kalen DeBoer's first Alabama season has hit expected highs and some unplanned lows. Sure, I didn't call Vanderbilt upset. Only die-hard fans with anchor tattoos likely saw that coming. And no, I didn't predict Alabama would blitz Georgia. But one thing I anticipated. Alabama needed to beat either Tennessee or LSU in DeBoer's first season to make the playoffs. After Alabama's loss to Tennessee, their playoff hopes now ride on a November 9th win over LSU. If Alabama pulls it off, DeBoer's season is a success. Yes, there was the Vanderbilt slip-up, but that fades if they make the playoffs. After all, Nick Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe in his first season, and we know how that turned out. But if Alabama falls to LSU and misses the playoff, DeBoer's first year becomes a bust. DeBoer made it clear before the season. That's the expectation, he said, of making the CFP in year one. So it's playoff or bust. The loss to Tennessee made me almost ready to give up on Alabama as a playoff team. It wasn't just the 24-17 score, but the way they played. Sloppy. Penalties. Jalen Milroe, once a Heisman hopeful, is now stuck in a slump. I've put down the shovel after Alabama's recent blowout of Missouri, but not too far. Alabama and LSU both have 2 weeks to prep for this showdown. Each team has tools to exploit the other's weaknesses. When given time, Alabama's defense lacks pressure on the passer, and LSU's Garrett Nussmeier can carve out a defense. However, LSU's weak spot is defending the read option, which should play to Alabama's advantage with Milroe's mobility. A 10-2 record might not secure a playoff spot, but Alabama's strength of schedule could make it difficult for the committee to ignore. CFP Executive Director Rich Clark has said, "Record matters, but we're trying to pick the best teams." Alabama's remaining schedule includes Oklahoma, Mercer, and Auburn, but those games won't matter if they don't beat LSU. Even with a Vanderbilt loss, Alabama's record could still look impressive with wins over Georgia, LSU, and Missouri. Meanwhile, the CFP process needs more transparency. Clark says the committee will use strength of schedule data from SportSource Analytics, yet this data remains hidden from the public. As fans, we're left trusting a process we can't fully see. Clark praises this sophisticated system as more credible if it were transparent. Emails of the week. DJ writes, "I'm a Notre Dame fan and loved your Texas A&M article. You captured the College Station scene perfectly." My response? Thanks. Notre Dame fans have become A&M's biggest supporters. With Notre Dame's Week 1 win over A&M, a victory for the Aggies also feels like a win for the Irish. Mike writes, "What other profession rewards failure as richly as coaching?" My response? Politician comes to mind. The U.S. Senator can coast, then get re-elected with a solid salary and maybe even a book deal. 3-0 Ohio State's playoff hopes hinge on avoiding a second loss to Penn State with this Saturday schedule. A second defeat would leave OSU vulnerable. 2 weeks ago, I didn't see Notre Dame as a title contender, but their Week 1 win over Texas A&M looks better by the day. Riley Leonard is improving, and the Irish are climbing back into the playoff picture. Texas A&M nearly hired Kentucky's Mark Stoops before fan backlash shot down that option. They went with Mike Elko instead, and A&M now sits atop the SEC.